Scott Shop Media. Today is Thursday, October 1st, and this is what is happening on the mountain. Quick overview of what we are going to talk about today in case you just have a couple of minutes to get the highlights. Currently, on this first day of October, there are two scheduled Caltrans projects that could be affecting your traffic today. One on State Route 18 going down into towards San Bernardino from Crestline. And overnight, we have that ongoing ramp closures on State Route 330 down at the bottom to the 210. We got some nice weather forecasted. Uh, Maybe a little warm today and tomorrow. Saturday, we should see the return of our onshore flow, which will give us some cooler temperatures and some higher humidity, which is great for our fire weather, which right now remains elevated. The Eldorado Fire is holding at 22,744 acres and at 93% containment. You'll still see some smoke coming out from there. Even when it's 100% contained, that fire could smolder for quite some time, especially as we get wind changes. So far this week, we've seen 7 crimes reported across the mountain. Today, Southern California Edison is reporting 2 scheduled outages, 2 maintenance outages, affecting a total of 16 customers and 679 customers over there in the Forest Falls Mountain Home Village area are still without power due to the Eldorado Fire, and crews are returning power to about 100 customers or so a day. So this project, it might take another week or so before they can get everybody's power returned. And 6 new COVID-19 cases reported on the mountain so far this week. So if you could stick around for a few more minutes, we'll go into greater detail into these. Starting with our traffic report. Everything's looking good right now, except for on State Route 18 between Waterman Canyon and the Cloudland Truck Trail. You're down to 1 lane in each direction until 5 o'clock this evening. Correction, 2:30 this afternoon. And that is for some attenuator repair. The attenuator is the that center of divider. No, they were doing some landscaping last week down there. So you're just down to 1 lane in each direction. But so far, no delays. So just be slow for the cone zone and be careful as you go through that section of the highway. And then overnight tonight, as it's been for the last month or so, you have a chance of the interchange being closed or the ramps being closed from the northbound or southbound 330 to the eastbound or westbound 210 as they do some miscellaneous work down there. And you'll have a detour, so there shouldn't be any delays. And that goes from 8 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning. Weather's going to look nice through the weekend. Be a little warm today and tomorrow. But over the weekend, Saturday afternoon, we expect the high pressure system to move out of the area, low pressure system to come into off our coast, and which will bring us cooler temperatures and an onshore flow, which will also increase our humidity, which typically reduces our fire danger. So that is some good fall-like weather we can expect over the weekend and into next week. Currently, the valley and some of our canyons are under an excessive heat warning for high temperatures down below, and we are at an elevated fire risk on the mountaintop as a result of that. Again, today and tomorrow will be the hottest days, and then the Saturday we should see some cooling temperatures, and we should see this fire danger reduce, at least the fire danger from the offshore flow, so the warmer desert winds. No Santa Ana winds, even though it is an offshore flow coming from the desert. They're not considered Santa Anas, or at least they're not strong enough to be of risk. They are a Santa Ana-like weather pattern, but we're only expecting to see gusts on the mountaintop of about 10 miles an hour, so that's good. So that weather pattern will continue today and tomorrow, and then Saturday we should expect to see the wind directions change, the flow come from the ocean, bringing us cooler temperatures, higher humidity, and lessened fire danger. And speaking of fire danger, we remain elevated for this time, which is normal for this time of year. Forest floor is under extreme fire danger. So there is all the restrictions that go along with that are still in effect, and the forest is still closed and will be closed through the weekend for forest activities, hiking, um, backpacking, mountain bike riding, all of those forest activities, camping, picnicking in the forest. And our prediction for the rest of the year remains slightly elevated, which is normal for this time of year. We're actually expecting to get an update today to see what it looks like through January, but at least through the end of the year, we can expect to see an elevated fire risk off and on throughout Southern California. Only fire burning in the area is the Eldorado Fire. It's holding at 22,744 acres and 93% containment, and we're just down to a couple hundred firefighters working it. You'll still see some emergency equipment if you travel up and down the 38. You'll still see some aircraft as they work to build that containment up to 100%, but the fire will likely be smoldering for some time in any given day, especially with the wind changes. We are likely to see some smoke as those interior pockets or islands of unburnt vegetation well within the containment line will continue to burn. There were 7 crimes reported across the mountains so far this week. Over here in VOE, somebody was arrested for possession of heroin or morphine, possession with the intent to sell heroin or morphine. Over here in Lake Arrowhead, a disturbing the peace call. On Alpin, assault with the hands or feet. Over here, I believe this was at the hospital. At least it was in the hospital area. Down here in Cedar Glen, somebody stole something from a church or a school. Over in the Big Bear Lake area, there was an arrest made for a DUI, as well as another assault to a child, non-aggravated assault to a child. And lastly, in Big Bear City, there was a residential burglary. Southern California Edison has 2 scheduled maintenance outages today. 13 people in Lake Gregory are currently affected as crews work to replace some power poles until about 4 o'clock today. Similar work going on in Fredalba, where 3 customers are without power until about 2 o'clock. And the Eldorado Fire still has 679 customers in the Forest Falls Mountain Home Village area without power as they make those repairs to the infrastructure. Lastly, COVID-19 updates. We are still up here in the widespread. For a week, we were down in the substantial, which had we stayed for 14 days would have reduced some of the restrictions in the county. But for the week afterwards, this previous week, we've been up in the widespread for total new cases reported. So even though we are on a downward trend of total new cases were being reported every day, it's not good enough. The number isn't low enough in order to reopen according to the state standards. The good news is our positivity rate is down even on the low end of the substantial risk. So as soon as both of these numbers remain in the red for 14 consecutive days, the county restrictions will be lessened, and things like indoor dining and movie theaters and things like that will be allowed to reopen. So how does that look for us on the mountain? 6 new cases reported this week. Community breakdown, Angeles Oaks still has 3, 2 new cases in Big Bear City, bringing the total to 48, 1 new case in Big Bear Lake, bringing the total to 58. Blue Jay still has 12, 7 for Cedar Glen. Crestline holding at 76, 3 for Fawnskin, 7 in Forest Falls. Green Valley Lake still has 1, 32 for Lake Arrowhead, 4 for Forest Falls, 2 new cases in Running Springs, bringing their total to 29. 1 new case in Sugarloaf, bringing the total to 13, and Twin Peaks is holding at 12. You can see how that breaks down by your census communities. So the Big Bear City area, including Sugarloaf, Baldwin Lake, Irwin Ranch, Woodlands area, 61. Big Bear Lake, which includes the Moon Ridge and Fawnskin area, is also 61. Forest Falls, Angeles Oaks, Mount Home Village, that 38 corridor is 10. So we call that region the Bear Valley area, 132 cases. And then you can see the breakdown for the rim area, Crestline, including Valley of Enchantment, Cedar Pines Park, and Lake Gregory, 76 cases. Lake Arrowhead, including Cedar Glen, Rim Forest, Twin Peaks, Blue Jay, and similar communities, 67 cases. Running Springs, also including Arrow Bear and Green Valley Lake, 30 cases. So mountain-wide, 305 cases and a positive test incident rate of 0.61%, which is significantly better than the 2.52% for San Bernardino County, a little over 2% statewide, and 2.2% for the country as a whole. So again, it's Scott from Scott Shot Media. Please like us, follow along on Facebook, what is happening on the mountain. Certainly you can email me or text me or join our other social media at Scott Shot Media. You guys have a great day.